flying above 10,000 feet need to pressurize the cabin so they can maintain a high enough oxygen level for everyone on board to function. A normally functioning plane, once sealed off at the gate, will automatically raise the pressure inside smoothly as the pressure outside drops, so that ideally you don't notice it much. A lot of the time when a plane suddenly depressurizes, it's because some kind of damage has occurred and the airtight seal keeping the pressure inside the aircraft is broken. On the program, we take a look at aircraft depressurization, and sadly, India's largest private airline temporarily halts operations. It's Aviation this week on Channels Television. Thank you so much for joining us on this flight. I'm Bukola Joe Oketumbi. Let's take off from here.
Passengers filing into an aeroplane for an intended flight. And flights like this take place aboard modern aircrafts designed to fly at high altitudes. For example, a Boeing 747 aircraft normally cruises at an altitude of 28,000 to 35,000 feet. This is because aircraft consume less fuel.
Airplanes, big aeroplanes, 737, the Dash 8s and above, are designed to fly at very high altitude. Flying at very high altitude makes life easier for the engines that power the aeroplanes. It makes it easier. It makes it possible for the airplane to travel further on the same amount of fuel. It makes the flying smoother and generally more comfortable for passengers. When you're at higher altitudes, the air mass is thinner, therefore there is less turbulence.
However, the human body is not designed to survive at such high altitudes, so the air pressure inside the cabin must be controlled. Without a fully functional pressurized cabin, passengers and crew need to use oxygen.
Aircraft is built in such a way that it's not 100% system that is built in such a way that nothing can happen or no failure can happen. As human beings, sometimes we have malaria, our system is not working very well. Pressurization problem in the cabin will make the passengers to be uncomfortable, and thereby everybody will start to talk about one thing or the other, and the next thing that we are thinking of, maybe the aircraft wants to crash.
While air pressure in the cabin must be controlled, sometimes depressurization may occur. And what exactly is this?
Depressurization is the occurrence of any event that leads to loss of pressure in the cabin.
While the loss of pressurization is an emergency in an aircraft flying at the normal cruising altitude for most jet passenger aircrafts, most times it's an issue of comfort than safety.
The aircraft has got backup systems in the case of a depressurization. There are things that will come into place not to avoid it, which it's already happened. That's why the oxygen masks will come down. So if the oxygen masks didn't come down, there would be a problem. But there was a problem with the depressurization, and the oxygen masks deployed automatically, so we knew that everybody knows that system is working.
And when it does occur, an emergency descent comes to the rescue. In the case of an uncontrolled depressurization, the crew will want to descend immediately to an altitude at which they and the passengers can breathe without supplementary oxygen.
Whenever there is depressurization, all pilots are trained. It's part of their qualification requirements, trained to handle it. All you just do is descend to an altitude that does not require aircraft pressurization, and then you continue. Although at that point the flying will be less efficient on the airplane, but at least then the passengers, they are safe. They will not be under the risk of passing out because of insufficient amount of air. The concentration is reduced to match with the environment. But it gets to a level around 10,000 feet, where the concentration inside the aeroplane is the same thing as outside the aeroplane. So that's all that pressurization does. Pressurization has no bearing on the ability of the aeroplane to fly.
There are different causes for depressurization, and these include structural failure, which is a failure of a window, door, or pressure bulkhead, for example, or in-flight explosion. An in-flight explosion may be due to system failure, dangerous cargo, or a malicious act consequential on such as an explosive device on board. Pressurization system failure, which is malfunction of some part of the pressurization system, such as an outflow valve. Inadvertent system control input, which is accidental or incorrect activation of a critical pressurization control. Deliberate act, which is a drastic measure but one which an aircraft captain might consider, for example, as a way of clearing the cabin of smoke.